Chapter 31. The harsh wind howls in the night as the ghastly ship pushes onward. Isamu leans his head out from the railing of the ship in hopes of seeing through the ship's fog. However, something more haunting greets him. A song. The wind whistles past his eyes, singing a quiet, mournful melody. He focuses on the words, which seem to mumble a name. "We are here," the captain interrupted as he stepped onto the deck, scaring Isamu away from the rails with a swallowed gasp. "Her village isn't far from here, just atop the cliffside." As if he uttered the magic words, the island he spoke of closes in. To the left is a flat coastland that the ship sails for, and to the right it proceeds to rise. The nearby land is covered in tall grass that blows in the weeping wind. The fog is too thick to see past the base of the land, making the travel up appear mystical, like a journey to a legendary wise men's temple. The ship docks, and the gangway slams onto the plentiful grass. The captain says nothing, flicking his head up. Isamu leads with the others quickly following, along with Aziza. Both are cautious of their surroundings, relying on their eyes as the blistering winds blow into their face, deafening them. Fedir, on the other hand, has his eyes set on the mysterious land above the fog. However, unlike that of the ship, the way forward is more of a gray, moist mist, like walking through a waterfall made of clouds that taste of the sea. Why would a village be placed out here? This place is near none of the major cities. How are supplies supposed to reach within a fair amount of time? What if danger struck? Fedir asked, smacking his lips, practically drinking the air. Perhaps for the land's soil or natural resources? Such valuable materials or assets alone make the settlement worth it, Simon answered, his relaxed tone revealing his joy of leaving the ship. Well, we can just ask when we get up there, Isamu added. Hopefully this wind doesn't make us lose balance on the way up. Would hate to barrel down. Strange coming from you, Fedir teased. Rolling downhill through mud was one of your favorite things to do. Then what do you say we try? Imagine the speed we would gain. It would sure beat anything back in Aliahan. Absolutely not. Only the goddess knows what lies waiting for us in the fog. Now you see my point. 1 for me, 0 for you. You guys coming or what? Aziza shouted from the slope, waving at them with a playful smile while Simon stood beside her. They look at each other. I'm starting to think she is more crazy than you, Fedir said. That's where you're wrong. She was always crazier than me. I heard that. The wind picks up and the gale sings louder. Fedir can hear the voice clearly. It is feminine and peaceful, yet haunting, vibrating through the sky, constantly changing pitch as if being sung through a tunnel. He feels a sense of sorrow caressing his skin. He closes his eyes to focus in. She is hurt, lost. She is watching us, he speculated, cautious of the swarming sentient mist. They cover their faces as the air blows dirt and dust their way with one arm, using the other to shield themselves from the cold. Isamu again takes the lead, with the others behind his large body, and hopes to stay hidden from the harsh gust. The slope ends, and Isamu stops. They all step past him, left in complete shock. Looking upon the village they were told of, all of the buildings are destroyed, leaving only the foundation as proof of their existence. No animals nor monsters, not a single soul remains, the only living thing being the overgrown plant life. Fedir steps forward to examine what is left of the houses. Some of what is still there are dirt-covered beds or wooden chests with standard farming equipment. What happened to this place? Isamu muttered, holding up a ruined children's doll. Fedir sweeps the dust off a wood dresser. There is no evidence of a fire. Could it have really been the wind? I doubt it was just abandonment. That is the only logical solution. Makes no sense for someone to leave this behind. Simon suggested as he lifted a hefty coin purse. Isamu finds an illegible tome and brings it to his face. The cover is encrusted with material from the earth and glued together like a strong adhesive. He scratches at the center of the thick book in hopes of uncovering its title, only to see a small, hollowed-out heart. He gazes upon it for only a moment before sifting through his pockets. Out he pulls the shimmering locket and slides it in. Fedir steps over, curious of his findings, and watches him. With a simple press of a finger, it fits perfectly, forcing the book open. He smiles at his genius as the book tears open, but is rewarded with worn pages that cannot be deciphered. Only the last page remains intact, reading, "May we meet again in a new life." Fedir looks up from the text. A figure awaits him in the mist. His breath leaves him. His eyes shift. A woman meets his gaze. Her eyes are hollow, her long hair damp with a salty scent. Her cracked lips move slightly. She mutters a name. She withdraws into the mist, completely disappearing. The voice grows louder like a rhythm. "Did you guys hear that?" Fedir announced, pulling forth his staff. He kept his eyes on the mist, and it's just as he thought. They are closing in. They stop shuffling through items and listen, weapon in hand, awaiting an ambush, only to be greeted by a voice, clear like pristine water. "Eric!" Together they close in, back to back, looking out for the voice. "Who's there?" Isamu shouted, swiping his golden claw that shines across the air. "Eric!" They freeze. The voice is close. No other person is near. The wind suddenly stops. She is close. Fedir spins around from the group, her blacked-out eyes inches from his. "Eric!" she whispered. The gale shoots forth like an endless volley of arrows. They struggle as their feet slip, slowly being pushed back. Isamu stabs his claw into the ground, holding firm in place and grabbing Fedir with the other hand. Aziza flies back with Simon jumping in her path to catch her. He falls back, but quickly recovers with enough time to implant his sword into the ground as a hold. Again she is gone, but the wind speeds up once more from where she once stood, slicing and whipping past the air like a hot blade through butter. The violent cold has them weak, and their weapons struggle to stay put. The others panic as they hear her screams. "Eric! Why have you abandoned me, Eric?" "Who is Eric?" Isamu shouted, though his voice cannot pierce through. "What do you want?" "It is I you seek, Olivia." A powerful, rugged voice screams through the storm. The wind lessens like a heeding call. "Eric!" The abhorrent cry shrieks. "I wish to talk, Olivia. I am through with running away." Over the ledge, Fedir gestures with his hand. It's the captain. The captain stands atop his cabin, arms open wide. His feet are placed firmly onto the structure like a statue, yet his garb blows with violence. From the gray mist, the sinister set of dead eyes with a jagged mouth form, looking at him. However, they are different from what Fedir has seen. Her features are enormous, with the mouth big enough to consume the ghost ship in one bite, and eyes no larger than him. Even with the ghastly mist charging forward, he remains firm and proud. "I knew my death was drawing near that day, yet I stayed, and it is true I carry no regret. However, if I knew you would fall victim to the same curse, I never would have allowed such a sacrificial act to commence. I know the terrible truth that befell you. I know the story behind your grief and what you have done to your home, and I still did nothing to ease your pain, your burden. To my men, I was a brave hero, but to the woman I love, I was a cowardly boy." He raises his hand to the sky, branding the pearl ring on his finger. "Olivia, I never forgot our bond, and I know it will never atone for my mistakes, but I have always remembered and loved you. All I will ask is for your forgiveness towards this fool." Eric, the voice whimpers. Its eyes soften. The wind comes to a stop. Her sorrowful eyes fade, and the mist disappears like magic. A blinding light sparks in the sky like a firework. The calming dawn lifts from the dark night. From the clouds with a beam of holy light, a beautiful young woman in a pink sparkling dress with long brunette hair descends. Her pure face and bright smile shine with a warm radiance. Eric, my love, she called with an angelic voice. When I learned of your death, I was broken. I begged for the goddess to bring you back to me, and with all hope lost, I threw myself into darkness. But even with a blackened heart, a light was still awaiting for your return, and I'm glad you have come back to rekindle the passionate fire I still have for you. She reaches out a gentle hand. Welcome home. He reaches his hand out, and the bones of his fingers shine with clean skin. He ascends to her, his face glowing with life, his hair glowing with a deep auburn, his sparkling hazel eyes born with a passionate soul. He reaches his hand into hers, together, bringing their pearl rings. Tears well in his eyes. His words struggle to leave his lips as he shakes. I promise to never leave your side again. Then shall we head off? A new life awaits us. We shall, he answered, curling his hand into hers. A warm, white light absorbs them, and they disappear with joyous smiles on their faces. As they fade with the light bringing them to the heavens, they look over the edge of the cliffside to find a shrine sitting alone on a small island. Slowly drifting, there is the ghost ship, which is no longer covered in a fog or brandishing any damages, nor is the skeleton crew aboard, simply returned back to its glorious form. Aziza has her black gloves covering her face as she sniffles. Simon is by her side, clearing his throat, turning his head to the ocean, and the other two stare up at the blue welcoming sky. What are your thoughts, Isamu? Still believe a goddess doesn't exist? He snickers and he tilts his head. Instead of gawking, you should probably be more concerned about our ride. But I will say, it was a beauty to behold. The stairs delve deeper into the dungeon, with Fedir casting a gentle blaze as a beacon. Their footsteps echo against the thick stone walls. The path forward is a thin hallway with unlit sconces plastered along the walls, unsteady and ready to crash at any moment. That might be it, Fedir calls out, pressing his hand out. He senses nothing present in these chambers. Nothing calls to him like the hillside village. What they walk through has been completely forgotten. At the end is a small cell with rusted iron bars. Fedir reaches his palm and touches it. A creak emits from the brittle steel, and it plummets to the floor with a loud crash. Fedir spins back, frantically scanning his surroundings. Aziza and Isamu remain unfazed. There is nothing here, Aziza comforts with a gentle tone. The other paths are blocked by fallen rock, meaning if something were to attack, they would have done it by now, Isamu added, clicking his claw on the stone, feeling the wall's density. Plus, being isolated in the middle of nowhere in itself is a pretty good safety measure for anything that wants to get in, or out, Aziza chimed. You guys are right, Fedir replied. I just am still jumpy from what we witnessed. A gasp erupts, and they turn to face the sound, Fedir nearly yelping. With his dim light, at the floor of the cell, he finds Simon kneeling down to a body of old bones. His expression is shocked as if the corpse was alive, yet he stares deep where its eyes would be. In the skeleton's torso is a large, dirty bastard sword with green matted scales on its hilt. Simon grabs hold of it and pulls it out from the ribcage. This is it, the mountain cutter. No doubt the man who lies before me is my father. I'm sorry to hear that, Fedir said, stepping close to the body with a solemn prayer. From the details of his decaying bones, he has been here for several years. Once I heard his story, I had a feeling he no longer walked this world. He sighed, looking down and holding the blade to his face. Despite its earthly coat, his reflection can still be found, though deformed. Why did it have to be like this? Aziza places her hand onto his shoulder. We will not let his death go in vain. All of us understand that the people we care about bought us enough time to prepare. Now it's our job to finish it. She's right, Isamu added. It's why we all fight. And we will bring this to an end. I appreciate the sentiment, but I cannot join you. You can't be serious. You are going to quit? After all we went through? I'm not like you guys, he shouted. I don't even compare close to you, not even a fraction to my father. Despite the anger swelling in his face, he clutches the blade with pride. But you are right. It isn't over yet. What do you plan to do then? Aziza asked. Right now, I wish to grant him a proper burial and mourn. I understand his crimes, but it is unjust for a hero to rot behind a cell. From there, it is just as you said. We prepare. He lifts from his father's body, forcing a smile on his face. I won't be joining you now. However, when the time comes, I will be by your side, strong and ready. If that is what you wish, then we will comply, Aziza answered, wrapping her arms around him. His smile turns genuine. You may not think it, but you are a friend now, Simon. Nothing at this point will change that. Well, you heard her. Once Aziza adds someone to our party, you're kinda stuck with us. He looks to Isamu as he smirks, with Fedir walking over to his side with an agreeing smile. Aziza lets go, stepping back, and he wipes his face. Thank you. I don't think I could have made it here without your help. See you around, Simon, Isamu said. And next time we will make sure to have Hotaru with us. Though I think I already know who you have your sights on, Isamu jests, waving him off. Seems Isamu is starting to like the guy too. Feels like it took forever before he revealed his teasing sense of humor to me, Fedir pondered, remembering much of their early interactions. Much being too formal and only small talk, almost like talking to a brick wall. Isamu softly chuckles as they step further into the darkness, leaving Simon behind. The farewell was pleasant, but deep in the darkness, Fedir can hear the soft sobs of a new friend. We will be waiting for you, Simon. You're stronger than you think, and I feel this is only the beginning. Quickly, they reach the stairs and peek out into the light. The ship greets them at the shrine's entrance. However, a familiar person in a red dress stands in front of the gangway. Isamu blurts, startling the others. Grandma?